Uh,
Okie dokie.
so Ryan, he's gonna start and do his Exiles summary, which never happened, and then
Hi.
we were gonna do it first, but I was like, well, if you came in, he's in the middle of doing the summary, that might be weird. So,
Yeah, how Brian usually comes in and is like, "Hey, everybody, what are you doing?" All
are you
right.
summarizing? Are you trying to? Am I interrupting you?
Hi. I mean, I would do that, so I can't.
Sorry,
I
I was a
cannot.
little tardy. Of course, I
No
get a phone
No,
call
no,
right
you're fine,
before.
dude.
No, we were just like, it would be weird if he's doing a summary and you're like, what's happening? I guess you'd probably work it out pretty quickly,
That's
but
what I would do. I'm just
I
saying,
usually
Brian
come
probably
in muted,
wouldn't.
so I know that I'm
Yeah,
not gonna screw anything up. So, in
yeah, I'm the one who
fact,
can
I
like,
should mute
"Hey,
now.
everybody, what's going on over here? What you doing?" Okay. Um, the Elfins have detected a swarm of ships, and when they investigate them more closely, they find that they contain cryogenically frozen humanoids. Both subjects they rescue make it through alive. Their names are Kantar and Zova. They try to convince Koenig to harbor the rest of their people, and although he's hesitant at first, they're able to convince him to let them work on Alpha's life support systems to boost their capabilities to accommodate the other cryogenically frozen beings. However, this was a trick, and they were actually using Alpha's resources to create a transportation device to take them to their homeworld of Golos to get revenge. And they kidnap Helena and Tony and bring them along. They confront Golos' leaders and find out that they've actually been in stasis for 300 years. Kantar and Zova overpower the Golosians and declare themselves the new rulers of Golos, and they demand Koenig rescue the rest of their exile comrades. But even though he agrees, he takes the opportunity to kick Zova out of the space craft without a lifeline. Kantar tries to shoot Helena in retribution, but she damages his protective membrane, which causes him to age 300 years and die. Alpha continues along their way, and the capsules with the exiles continue along theirs. I It's so hard to do these because sometimes my brain is like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I just stop.
we'll be glad you didn't get this week's summary then.
Welcome to
Oh yeah,
Space 1999.
oh
What the
yeah,
hell am I
oh yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, I thought about that a lot during this episode. It's like, wow, I'm glad I don't have to summarize this one.
Um, okay, well, I don't know. I guess do an introduction. I'll quit playing video
Okay. Okay. I mean, you don't have to. You can, Luke does it all the time.
games.
Um,
Maybe when we get to the summary, I'll play around. I don't know. We'll
I
see.
like
I'm not,
how
I'm not
I
playing
like
good
how
games. I'm
I'm.
playing stupid games. That's the problem.
Well, and stupid games don't take as much of your brain.
Right.
All right. Welcome to Space 19. Damn it. Okay.
No, it's right. I cleared my.
You know how many
I could.
times
I
I
could
do
have.
that?
I could have hit my mute button. I didn't. I just cleared
It
my
do.
throat when you started your intro. That's all.
No, I said welcome to. I said the wrong thing.
Oh,
So,
okay.
welcome to Podcast 1999, the podcast about Space 1999. I'm your host, Mark.
This is
These are my
Matt.
co-hosts.
This is Brian.
Ah, we beat
That's
you.
right. That's right.
We just verbally cucked you.
Yeah. Speaking of cucking, this
uh,
week's oh well, so much for that.
break the spell immediately. There we go. It's
It's
one
a moment
moment.
of humanity. The moment of humanity you get after you cuck a man and get punched by him and die.
What's what's better? What's longer, a moment or a second? The original title is 1 second of humanity. Is a moment more time or less time?
Think more, right?
I don't know. Let's
Moment is
count.
always a very vague term.
Yeah,
It
actually,
almost takes more it takes longer to say the word moment than a second, right?
moment, second,
Hmm.
moment, second. Yeah, I think it's how long
Okay.
it takes you to say the word is how long the length of time is.
Eternity. Wow, that was fast.
That'll be you doing your trivia then, right? Compared to
Yeah.
the moment and seconds we were just talking about, like five
Yes,
eternities of trivia.
I'm going to take a moment to do trivia. See how long that is? This is how long a moment is. This episode is third in production order for the second season, but it aired fourth in the UK and much later in the US run. Charles Crichton is back to direct for his second of six this season. We've got a new writer in Tony Barwick, born in 1934 in London. He wrote a lot of episodes for a relatively small number of series, including 18 of Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, 17 for Joe 90, and 12 for UFO, all of those made by the Andersons. This is one of only two credits he has in Space 1999, however. He passed away in 1993, and his final credits were 34 episodes of Dick Spanner PI. That's about a robot detective. Dick Spanner. Anyway, this episode has the final mention of the character of Dr. Matthias in the series and the final appearance of Zanny Merton for now. She quit because she wasn't given a contract and didn't feel like her pay or screen time had been adequate under Fred Freiberger's leadership. When the press asked Freiberger about her absence, he replied that they lent her out, quote unquote, to other productions, which was not possible because she was not under contract. Merton does return after a few months, but we will meet her temporary replacement next week. Lionel Blair, the choreographer of the dance scene at the end of the episode, requested that it be accompanied by Gino Vanelli's Storm at Sunup. Derek Wadsworth produced an elaborate instrumental cover of the song, which took so much effort that the music composed for previous episodes, the Exiles, had to be reused to fill in the gaps, as well as some bits from season 1, which this is only one of 2 episodes in season 2 that used season 1 music. Guesting as Zamara, we have Billy Whitelaw, born in 1932 in Coventry, Warwickshire, England. She made her debut on stage in 1950 and film 1953. She has a number of credits, including I Like Money, I Promise to Pay, and You're a Long Time Dead. But more importantly, we have another connection with The Omen, with her playing Mrs. Blaylock. And also, she voiced Aughra in The Dark Crystal, and although she passed away in 2014, her final credit was in one of my favorite modern comedies, Hot Fuzz, as Joyce Cooper in 2007. Lee Lawson is our other main vegan. Not vegan, that's different. Zarl. He was born in 1945 in Atherstone, Warwickshire, England. That's also Warwickshire. How about that? Wonder if they knew each other. I guess they knew each other in this episode. And he's been married to Twiggy since 1988. Yes, that Twiggy. You can see him in Out of Depth. It's Not the Size That Counts, Sword of the Valiant, and An Unsuitable Job for a Woman. As number 8, who is not a number but a free man, we have I can't even not laugh at that. Jeffrey Bailden, born in Leeds, England, 1924. He trained at Old Vic Theatre School and had a long and prestigious career on stage, but also over 200 on-screen credits with roles in such works as The Case of the Frightened Lady, The Amorous Mr. Prawn, and The Magnificent 7 Deadly Sins. And you can also catch him starring as Q in Casino Royale. You can guess which one. He was working up until 2010 and passed away in 2017 at the age of 93. And that's the end of the trivia.
End of your crap trivia.
Yep.
Delivered by an idiot.
A moment. I'll teach you, idiot. I'll teach you violence.
I'll kill you.
I'll
He should spit some food in his face, quick.
Over Zoom.
Yeah.
I don't like that you already fixed the pronunciation, because I was fully prepared to call them vegans through the entire podcast.
I mean, don't let me stop you.
They have vegan powers, right?
They probably don't eat
Didn't
meat.
they have the
They're
same
robots.
problem in Contact, right? Because the message in Contact came from the star Vega. So were they referring to them as vegans?
Yeah.
I honestly thought that we might have had something called Vegans in Space 1999 already and couldn't find anything about it. I was like, this seems so familiar. It's just they're running out of sciencey words to name.
It's one of the top 5 sci-fi names. Come on, you can create an alien race name right now.
Sigmas. I'm just gonna use Greek letters.
Just used another Greek letter. Okay.
Omegas.
That you're still doing it. You're still doing it.
Dolbinians.
Ooh, there we go.
I'm looking at my Thomas Dolby poster, so I thought Dolbinians.
That's the way to come up with alien names, isn't it?
Kaiser Soze name of coming up with alien names. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? The best thing to do to name aliens in like the modern era is just go to Amazon.com and I'll search for lamp, and I'll see. Let's see some of the brand names. Adlon, Sunmori, Edishine. Oh, there's some real words here. Queemich.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Run Top.
Run Top doesn't sound like an
Bos-
alien name.
Bosquios,
That does. Okay. Boskians.
Joe,
Got that.
Jufo,
Hmm. Now you're just doing that thing where you're just making sounds again,
Demont.
basically. While Mark's doing that, Brian, I
I'm
guess you can
done.
start your summary and he can just do that in the background.
I thought he was just going to switch to the IKEA page and just go down that, and that would keep you busy for a while.
Star Trek
Glorborks.
certainly used that.
Where am I? Oh, yes. While playing dress up and failing the Bechdel test, Helena and Maya respond to a red alert and rush to command center. Moonbase Alpha is losing power, and in a moment, everyone freezes in awkward poses before a strange alien woman appears who examines everyone in the room but seems very interested in Tony and Helena. When everyone snaps out of it, she introduces herself as Zamara and insists that Tony and Helena return to her planet Vega, else the base will lose all life support. They click their heels together 3 times and they arrive in a Playboy grotto in the middle of an icy wasteland. Other scantily clad Vegans, including Zamara's male sidekick, Zarl, and gray-dressed numbered automatons gather around them. One of these numbers warns Helena not to react with violence to the ensuing bad dinner and an insult fest perpetrated on them. Later, she and Tony sneak down to the servants' catacombs and discover that, plot twist, the numbers are the actual human beings and the Vegans are the androids. The Vegans only learn emotion by example, and they want to pick up some pointers about hate, violence, and murder from the Alphans so they can rid themselves of the numbers once and for all. Tony and Helena seek out the central computer, but attempts to breach its defenses fail. When caught, they ask if they can just go home, and Zamara tells them to click their heels again, and sure enough, they end up back on Alpha, which is now deserted. But it's all an elaborate ruse to get the 2 Alphans to distrust and kill each other. Zamara returns to the real Alpha, and after consulting their public domain library, figures out that Shakespeare's Othello is just the scenario that will get Koenig to lose his cool once Zarl hits Helena with his sexy choreography. And it actually works, but Maya realizes the Vegans are all interconnected, and Helena sees that Zarl is really falling for her, so when commanded by Zamara to kill her, Zarl breaks down, and the rest of the androids are rendered inert. But as he dies, Zarl states that his one moment of humanity was worth it. A despondent Helena freezes once more because it's time for the credits. The end.
Here's my recasting for this episode. Just for this episode, there is no Koenig gets Landau's out. We taken Jason Clark. We beam him from now. Jason Clark gets to be Koenig for this episode because he's king of the cucks.
Okay.
Like half the movies he's in this happens, right? So he belongs here. And then if they really wanted the insults to work, they needed Rowan Atkinson
Hmm.
doing his
Yeah.
Blackadder stuff. Yeah, that would have
Yeah.
been great.
Yeah. That would work.
That would have pissed him
Well,
off.
he is king of the insults. Yes.
Yes. But no, that's neither here nor there, I guess. What else do I like? Oh yeah, it's my dream to live in a tropical dome in the middle of a icy wasteland, like that Beach Boys album cover. The album's
parrots.
terrible, but the cover's good. Well, no, the
Like
cover's
Death's
not
Other
good. It's
Dominion.
fun. Huh?
Like
No,
Death
no,
is-
no.
Death
That
is-
they had to live in
Well,
ice
guess what?
caves. That sucked.
Guess what? They reused shots from in this. With that.
That's not
That's the rest of
unsurprising.
your trivia.
Okay, there we go. No, they had to live in ice caves. These guys get to live in like a tropical wonderland that's in the middle of like, Antarctica or whatever. I like that.
You mean Ultima Thule is just down the street from the grotto?
Yeah, it's on
Probably,
the
yes.
other side of the planet.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the Thulians, the humans, I guess they were humans, would be how bummed out would you be if you were living in a cold ice cave for 900 years and realized there was a tropical dome on the other side of the planet?
I've got a question for you. If you took the Thulians specifically, our 2 leads from that episode, and told them that they're going to be cucked by robots and they have to not punch them, how long do you think they would last?
What, John Shrapnel?
Yeah. How long do you
Oh.
think it would last?
Well, John Shrapnel would drive the aliens would learn how to be insane.
Yeah.
That would teach
A
the
whole
Vegans how to be
planet
nuts.
of Captain Tanner's.
There is something really compelling here, but I feel like it is just not formed entirely. Like I guess they're robots who need like some information to break one of the laws of robotics. It's almost like RoboCop needing the permission to throw Dick Jones out of the window.
Yeah.
But that just comes by example, right? I mean, this civilization apparently never had like motion pictures. They never saw like Rocky or anything just on a screen and said, "Oh, that's how you punch someone," and then
It
story over.
it doesn't make any sense that robots wouldn't know how to do violence, because violence is the dumbest, simplest thing imaginable. We've already learned that in 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's kind of okay, maybe you need a black rectangle to teach you how to do it if you're a monkey, but if you can build a person, you probably could break something, because how can you build without violence? You can't. You have to drill holes, right? Like,
Is
just
this an
drill
earlier
holes.
version of the machines taking over? I mean, the original Star Trek must have done that at some point. I can't remember,
No,
but well,
I
no,
think
that no
this was
Star Trek doesn't have so many robots. Just Data and the Corby's robots, right?
what was that episode? Little girl
Not Corby.
something
Yeah, where
something.
little girls made of.
Yeah, that was before this. That was way before this,
Yeah, yeah. But I'm just trying to track like because
and
uh
also
where
arguably much more complex than this.
yeah, I'm just trying to track like how primordial we're looking at, because now we use the Matrix, Skynet. It's where sci-fi
Hmm.
is just like drowning in this stuff. But in 1976,
Mm.
was this a
I
little
don't.
more original at the time?
I don't feel like this was an attempt to be original. I feel like this was an attempt to be subversive, and it kind of works. Like, it feels like the whole thing where the robots are, oh no, the robots are people and the people are the robots. That's like that's on it. That's a bold-faced attempt to be like, whoa, I blew your mind.
You know what
You
this
thought that
needs?
these were robots
The
because
only
they're
human
people.
robot I think we saw was the Guardian, the servant of the Guardian, Catherine Shell. That's the only one I could think
Well,
of in this series
that's
prior to this.
yeah, that's a uh regular, I don't know, regular humanoid robot. This is an attempt to do something where it's an interest, the idea of robots, what we would call approaching the singularity, even though I don't think the term singularity was coined, may have been coined like 2 years before this came out, so probably not in the heads of people writing this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching this and thinking like maybe there's like a Caligula cut of this episode that's like 3 hours long,
Oh,
where the Bob Guccione just inserted a bunch of
oh.
random hardcore scenes in. That would kind of make sense for this episode.
Okay, 1958 was the first time that a concept that was, approaching what we think of as a singularity was discussed. So this could have been in the zeitgeist. I mean, to me, that's very interesting. And the vegans are weird, which I've said multiple times on multiple podcasts. I want my robots, my aliens to be weird, because they're not human and they don't have the human experience. So they should be weird. And that's cool. However, it doesn't really make sense that they wouldn't know how to do violence, but they know how to build creatures that are real. You know what I mean? Like,
You know what?
realistic.
When also
That
in
just
my head with these aliens or these robots,
yeah,
robots is
yeah.
the Upright Citizen Brigade sketch where they have like an android doing like a personal video want ad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like everything he's
Um,
saying is like super bizarre. Um,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
that's kind of the ticket of these guys, I think. I mean, they don't go for the weird as much with these because they're not making a
yeah.
comedy, even though some of it is kind of funny. But
Well, yeah, it's the thing is, I feel like this would work perfectly with maybe sort of a different explanation than they have to be shown violence to know how to do violence. But if they want to do violence, then it's sort of it's maybe they shouldn't want to do violence. I don't entirely understand.
Yeah, they
There's
know what
sort
it
of like
is,
a
and they're violent in their
yeah.
minds. Like, we want to kill you, but we don't know how. It's like, well, you're halfway there. You want to kill someone.
Yeah,
You should be
teach
able
me
to
how to
figure it out.
kill. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that uh, any type of intelligence would be able to build without knowing how to kill. But that's the thing, is that that's what's, I mean, it is really compelling, the idea of the three laws of robotics, and somebody getting around any of them is interesting inherently. So,
Hmm.
and just think how
the,
happy that one robot is once he learns how to punch things.
well, yeah,
He
and
went around
then
punching all sorts of things, didn't he? He was
Yeah.
quite happy to punch things
yeah,
once he figured out the motions, I guess.
Monkey
then
see, monkey
Koenig and
do.
Helena yell at him to feel love, and then he breaks down and dies. So which doesn't make a lot of sense either. Uh,
But the planet didn't blow up, did it? So they just said it was about to.
no,
So I mean, yeah, there are other
Well,
people
it said it
living
was
there.
booby trapped. If you messed with the computer, the planet would blow up. But they subverted the computer from within, so the planet didn't
Yeah,
blow up.
just when you say that, I just assume Koenig's going to blow up the planet because that's what he usually does.
No, you're thinking of Janeway. No, well, at least it was still within eagle range because I presume somebody launched an eagle. I mean, uh, it's funny how the episode kind of ends rather abruptly, don't you think? I mean, you usually don't get the little denouement of them, saying, "Well, goodbye," and we'll pile into our eagle and take off and fly away.
well, there was an epilogue. Here's more trivia. I lied. There's more. There's an epilogue recorded where Alan shows up with like suits to keep everybody warm, and they, I think, make some joke about dead Varl or whatever his name is, Jarl, Zarl. Is it
Yeah, there
Zarl?
is Zarl. Yeah.
Zarl.
hmm
And then they freeze frame and laugh. But they had to cut that. I don't know why.
Yeah, I
but
saw
yeah.
I saw that in the book. It's in the second volume of the second season books, Mind Breaks of Space. So it's
Whoa,
like
that's a
episode
good
8
name.
in the books. Yeah, they have all
Huh.
the weird, bizarre, psychologically demented aliens are in that episode. We'll come across them soon.
Let's say we don't get a whole lot of time on real alpha because we spend a lot of time on fake alpha and on Vega. But
Oh
there
yeah.
is a scene where Alan's like the power is where it's too cold to launch an eagle or there's not enough power to launch. I I,
Mhm.
I can't remember exactly what they did to people to everyone to freeze them, or if it was just cold. It was
What at
kind
the
of vague.
beginning when everyone freezes and
Yeah,
condensed? That no, they
yeah.
explained that's a like electromagnetic field they're putting around the moon base.
Yeah.
Electrostatic
That's
field around you and
that's
your
probably
base.
why I
Yeah.
forgot. Is
Yeah.
because it was just
And then it
some
gets cold
words.
because she's like, "I'll leave you with some
Mhm.
life support," but she's a poo-poo liar. They're good at lying. Maybe they're not good at
No.
killing yet, but they're good at lying.
I mean, why not just sit there and watch them almost freeze to death and unfreeze them and then watch them attack you and then they'll teach you how to kill. Would
Yeah,
have been
that
really
could be a good
easy. Would
plan.
have been really easy. They didn't have to do all the stuff. They
It
Again,
just
it's
seemed
like
like
they have
thinking
to
of
make someone
Blackadder,
mad.
it seems like they had a cunning plan. They have all these cunning plans to make you be violent, and it's just like it seems like they overthought it a little bit. Speaking of robots in television, it occurs to me that the trope has usually been this is a robot, but he does not know he's a robot until he's been exposed as a robot, which happened like in the Twilight Zone, like what, 3 times?
yeah, cue
Just
the episode I'm posting next week.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I was thinking of that one. I was thinking of the After Hours. Well, she was a mannequin, not a robot,
Uh-huh.
but still. There was another one in there between. Is it the After Hours? No, that was the
After Hours
mannequin one.
was the mannequin
The
one
lateness of
and
the hour is
Lateness
an
of the Hour
hour
was the
Oh
robot
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Did not know she was a robot. That seemed to be the way. Robots trying to become more human. Of course, we always think of Data, but I think we can go back to Data's predecessor, which was Questar, the Quester tapes that was filmed about the same time. Wasn't it 74 or something? As a robot who was incompletely programmed. So now wasn't it Robert Foxworthy? He had to go out and figure out how to be human in the pilot for the Quester tapes, which never became a series.
Works trying
Wow.
to look
I
as
don't know
confused as
any of that
possible.
stuff.
Okay.
I'm
I think it's a
succeeding
YouTube.
because
I
I'm
think you
very
can YouTube it.
confused.
Yeah.
You never saw
Yeah.
Quester tapes? Oh, okay.
No.
That
No.
and Genesis 2 are the main attempts at Roddenberry to come up with sci-fi series in the 70s. They're on DVD.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm missing a lot of the back, whatever, a lot of that stuff. Huh.
I guess personal computers entering people's lives has a lot to do with it too. Because before that, you just wouldn't think about the machine, um, thinking. But once you start
Mm.
communing with it, using it, right, you start thinking a little more like, what is this thing capable of?
Well, and now we have that kind of thing where people think that ChatGPT is thinking and sentient, like the guy who Google fired because he thought their AI was sentient, which is, by the way, wrong. It's not. Not even close.
No, a year and a half ago when I was messing around with the like visual AI stuff, not
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, but I found the limits of it within like 20 minutes,
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying like poo-poo AI isn't real. It doesn't do anything, but it's just this thing where people it's almost like people want to be fooled.
I think the thing with
You know what I
using
mean?
AI is you have to be discerning and pick and choose what it's doing. Use it as basically a spitboard for ideas.
Well, yeah, that's just that the fact you're just dealing with a bunch of aggregated knowledge, and it's some kind of framework that's computing as fast as it can, and yeah,
I'm
it's
computing as
got
fast as I can.
it's just not a thinking person. It's
And
Um,
all
not a
that
thinking
knowledge that it
creature.
scraped from the internet was public domain knowledge, right? None of it was like,
Well,
proprietary
there
copyrighted.
is there's public oh yeah, public domain knowledge, yes. No, copyrighted material. There are people who are who are paid to train AI, working a lot. So yeah, there's a lot behind the curtain. It's not just magic.
right.
The thing is, I was really yeah, thinking this week for some reason that the whole what is it, sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, is it only works if you completely ignore the idea of manufacturing. Like, oh sure, it's magic. Like if all magic, that's what's great about the series Full Metal Alchemist, is that sort of like the magic, you have to kill people to do magic, basically.
That's fun.
Anyway,
Um,
yeah,
I
it's
want
great.
I wanted to go back 3 spaces. You said Alan got his scene cut at the end of this, right? Meaning Nick
Yes,
Tate got his scene cut. And when he was on
yes.
screen, I was like, tell me if I'm reading in too much, but I was like, that's one of the most depressing looking, not depressing looking, but he looks depressed on screen.
Uh, I think he and Landau both look very depressed this season so far, but especially him.
Yeah, yeah. It was almost like a black hole of charisma, which is weird because he's very charismatic in season one, right?
It's a bummer. Yeah, I think he's. I mean, I feel like I maybe was too hard on Tony last week. He did a good job with this,
And
even
give him
though
a few more weeks.
it's just weird how they keep putting him and Helena together,
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say
setting
I
they
the
was
should
gonna
show
have
say
like
it's
off.
like they always pair up
t-shirts.
those two for some reason.
They should
Why?
have
Mm.
t-shirts that say like hostages on them or something. Just make
Well,
it
yeah,
easy for
they're in
everyone that
their
comes on the
Hostage
moon
one,
base.
hostage two.
they're they're in their party outfit for like more than half the episode.
Does Helena ever get out of it? I think she's in it the entire time.
She's on
Pretty sure,
another
yeah.
whole replica Moonbase Alpha with her quarters and presumably all of her clothes, and she doesn't change.
Does not
She just
change.
stays in that.
She likes the dress.
And then
Did you
she
see the
does this
thing I
thing where
posted in the
It's the
chat?
she's
it's the red
talking
dress
out
that
loud.
becomes a problem when Requiem for a Dream, where you want to get back into your red dress. But she's living the life right
Yeah.
now. She can wear it.
Well, it's really important that we know that Alpha has parties. Like, it's a new thing. Everybody needs to know that Alpha has parties, that also that Maya and Tony want to have sex.
Hmm.
That's very important.
Well, Solarium's always a party, right? They had that sitar concert. That was a party, right?
Yeah, I actually can't I cannot attack this season for doing that, because season 1 was just like, whoa, we're all naked.
Did
Like,
we see a lot
it's
of evidence that Tony and Maya were in love? Because it's only episode 3, and they didn't even meet in episode 1, so only had one episode in between where they hardly interacted, and now they're in love. I guess we're supposed to deduce this from the prologue where she's talking about, oh, Tony likes this style of hair, blah 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 blah, and that's supposed to be in love.
I can't. I mean, honestly, I can't really single this show out for that either, because just stuff from this era, from stuff of this vintage that isn't extremely, I don't know.
Yeah, 1976. We don't have to worry about will they, won't they. It's just like, let's go.
People, it seems very common in older stuff like this for people to say, I am in love. When when they like somebody, it turns into I am in love with them, because that's the only acceptable type of horniness.
Do you find it uncomfortable if you're at a party or something, you're talking to someone, and then they introduce someone, this is my lover? I feel like that's uncomfortable.
I don't think
I've
that's
heard somebody say
happened.
that before. They've used that term in a public setting, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of an awkward phrase. I mean, I thought, well, I'd be more classy. Say, this is my paramour.
Ooh,
It's like
Paramore.
Game of Thrones. This is my paramour.
Well, there was I don't want to say it was awkward. It was just whatever. But there was a guy I worked for who introduced me to his partner, and I thought it was like his business partner, but they were also romantic partners. They were just both partners.
Mm. See, I find partner to be a little more like less. I guess lover just like it's like they're daring you to like imagine them loving or something.
I like
Mhm.
partner. I know a lot of people who introduce themselves as partners. I don't think I've had anybody introduce me to their lover. I don't think that's happened. But if someone did, I would be like, okay, cool. If someone introduced me to someone they were dating and they said we're in love, I would immediately try to distance myself from them.
Mm. I thought you were going to argue the statement. You think you're in love, but
What? Yeah, love is an illusion, man. No, yeah, no. I've been around long enough. It's usually people who talk the loudest about being in love are the ones who are hitting each other.
mm.
Take that to the bank, everyone listening.
Oh
not
dear.
not these robots though. Not these
Not these
robots.
robot. Oh yeah,
They
there's
don't know how
nothing
to
wrong
hit.
with wanting to hit. Yeah, this is like the. Imagine if somebody's like, "This is my lover. I would like you to teach me how to hit them." I don't I want to hit them, but now I just feel like I'm giving people a bunch of audio to isolate.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
sound terrible.
What are
um,
you trying to tell us, Mark? What are you?
I just teach me how to hit. Okay, I'm not gonna say anymore.
Well, I
So
guess it's
anyway,
like if I want to play golf, I don't really know how to play golf. I mean, I see how it's done, but if I just went to a golf range right now and tried to, without any instruction,
Mhm.
just, try and drive it, it's probably not going to go well.
well, you have to get a robot to teach you at Top Golf. You have to go to Top Golf, and the robot tells you how to play
Yeah,
golf.
yeah, I'm like, it seems obvious that the vegans should just be able to do violence, right?
That is the
But
central
they don't
problem
know.
with this episode. That
So,
is
but it seems
100% the
That's what I'm
problem
saying.
here.
It seems like obvious I should just be able to go out, pick up a golf club and, do it, right? But I can't. I would need instruction. I need to see how it's done properly.
Really, like if I said you have 24 hours on this golf course, okay, you don't want to spend 24 hours on a golf course. You have 12 hours on this golf course. Here's 3 meals. Here's a place to take a nap if you need to take a nap. You are going to take these. I'll give you 1,000 golf balls so you can
Ooh,
practice as much as you want. You'd figure out how to play golf in a day.
but
You
not
had like
well. Okay, that's okay. I
maybe
guess
maybe you would. I don't know.
they could hit badly. Maybe they want to do the perfection of violence. Violence isn't good enough. They have to do it in a perfect way.
Well, they were
I'm
just
sorry, I
trying to.
have to watch Tiger Woods play golf in order to figure out how to play golf. It's got to be done that way.
They were, what they were trying to do was like, you need to help me remove this regulator on my behavior, but they just didn't explain it really.
I mean,
They're just like, you have to
I'm
tell me.
I know I'm devil advocating what you're saying here, but I should also point out that right in the middle of my notes, I have written that twist was stupid, question mark. So, it's not like I'm not agreeing. I just feel like I'm trying to work out if through the filter of a weird AI, an alien AI, it could make more sense.
I think the twist where the humans were the robots, the robots were the humans was a great twist, but the twist where the robots need to learn violence, so that's why they've been being rude, is not fully formed.
Hmm.
Not great.
Okay.
Also, that is, I know this predates it, but it kind of got the really heavy black hole vibes from this because, all the automatons on the Cygnus were actually the humans. Spoiler
Oh
alert for Black
yeah.
Hole.
Yeah, I need to
But this
rewatch it.
predated that.
That's what
The
you
other thing
always
that I
say. I
was
need to
thinking of,
rewatch it, and then you rewatch it, and you're like, maybe I didn't need to rewatch it. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say the whole, you're on a complete copy of the place where you live in order to drive you mad sort of thing. It goes straight back to, what was it, Missing Link. So Koenig did this already
Oh,
last season, but
true.
got the real strong Mark of Gideon
Gideon.
vibes from the people peering out of the walls like, oh, hi, surprise, I was watching.
I like that. I did like this abandoned alpha segment a lot better though. Also because they're like playing the mind games of trying to get Helena and Tony to well, laser each other, right? So
Yeah, I had to watch that scene more closely to see, did Tony actually have an opportunity where he was able to put pills in her drink? And apparently he did. He was behind her sitting down, then he got up again. So it really did look like he did it. I mean,
That also
the
felt like it wasn't formed all the way. Like it
yeah,
there was something interesting there. Like that almost could have been the entire episode, but it also resolved really quickly, and then they were laughing, and I
yeah.
was like, were they laughing because they knew what they were doing the whole time? And I wasn't even entirely clear on that.
I think the laughing was just an attempt to cover up whatever frustration or ever, and to just basically
They
ridicule
were
them for failing.
they were about to hook up, and they wanted to play it off really quick in case Conan was watching.
So
Because I gotta say, man, I hate to say it, Helena and Tony have pretty good chemistry. Like they actually have better, I don't know, better chemistry than Maya and Tony for some reason. And
yeah.
it's just because they keep pairing them off, probably.
What about
And
Koenig and
also,
Maya? What about their chemistry?
I think that
Because
would
Coney's
work.
doing a lot of touchy feeling with Maya now. You notice he's
Yeah,
always like
yeah,
patting her on the
yeah.
back, and it's like, oh, what's going on here? What's going on with Maya?
Well, you know what that would be like? It would be amazing. He would be like, turn into a gorilla, and then he would have the gorilla like fight the gorilla, and then when they were done fighting, then they'd be like, turn into Helena now. No, I
They
can't.
did that last week. He
I'm
turned
Yeah,
into
too.
that's what
I'm
I'll
Helena
say.
last week.
They already did that.
I'm so internet poisoned that I cannot think of people being normal with powers. It's just impossible.
Hey, they could be into a whole bunch of, we don't see Moonbase After Dark, so
Like turn into Balor, and then he's gonna
I
fight
mean, this
Balor.
could have been like I mean, maybe the alien the vegan stuff was like too chill for them. They're up to much weirder stuff, on the Moonbase.
Was anybody else kind of distracted by how much um what's her I keep forgetting their names because they never said their names. Zamara, how much Zamara looks like Barbara Bain? Like they look really similar to me. Am I crazy?
I just
Other than being
I
blonde, I
mean,
didn't think she looked that much
obviously,
like Barbara.
obviously they're wearing way different outfits, so it wasn't like I was gonna get
okay.
them straight up confused. But for a second, I was like, Are they doing another clone thing here?"
I
You
thought you were
know,
going to tell me it's that same wig from season one that's on her head now, because it never left.
I
not
did
that I
another one
know
of those
of.
things where I watched things in too close proximity, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she looks exactly like her." But that was actually because I was watching a Mission Impossible episode with with a younger Bane.
Oh, okay, of course.
So in the space episode, no, because I was about to like emphatically agree and like, wait, nope, that was a completely different show.
Well, speaking of casting, I was thinking that, Castor and Zorro from last week would have fit in better as young, youthful specimens of health amongst all these other vegans, other than Billy Whitelaw, who was like already in her 40s, I guess, at the time.
Mhm.
Actually, things that she's been in after this, she looks younger than she looks in this episode. She frankly looks kind of old.
I don't think it's flattering makeup, outfit, etc. But
Well, my note when she
well,
first shows up is she probably came in from the Ren Fair, so I guess that was the temperature I took.
I wonder if it was like, well, we cast some younger people last week and it worked very badly, so we're gonna go back to casting mature people. Well, I guess what's his name, Zarl.
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 Pretty young.
Think Carl, but with a Z. Zarl.
Zarl Marks.
That does not roll off the tongue. That, in fact, you almost choke yourself like saying that name.
Yeah, so he was like 30, so that's pretty young for this, 30 something.
Yeah, I do wonder if that's like maybe a fried burger cost saving measure is hire younger, cheaper people.
Oh, of course. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I'm not even going to suggest that it was a great idea to always hire super top shelf actors for the first season, because they weren't always saving the episodes they were in, right?
Yeah, for the most part,
Well,
they kind of did. A few of them
I'm thinking
certainly
about
did.
the perspective of the androids themselves is like they want to be perfect humans. So who do they model Zamara after? It's like, does there have to be one older leader of the androids, and they signal that by casting an older person or having the android be an older person. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking of the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. They got, like, um, who was the leader? Who was number one?
Well,
Dean Stockwell.
Stockwell?
Yeah, Dean
Yeah,
Stockwell.
Dean
Right? That
Stockwell.
was his
Yeah,
name.
so he's like the senior most Cylon
Yeah,
because
Matt, you almost did it.
he's got the the gravitas there.
But at some
Yeah.
point, he starts complaining about the fact that he's the one stuck in like an old man body.
Hmm.
That might have been one of the movies that like I think it might have been the one where like you see what he's doing the whole time in the first two seasons. They did a movie on that. I think he's like complaining about being
Hmm.
stuck in the old man robot body, whereas everyone else gets young and pretty ones.
So
Well, I mean,
suppose
it
those
could be
Cylons
worse.
came to this planet to see the Vegans, and they're telling the Vegans, no, don't bother.
Hmm.
Being human isn't all it's cracked up to be. Just don't even bother. Just go back to enjoying
Well,
your parrots.
yeah, that maybe they could have skipped the whole part where Helena and Tony were trapped to the fake alpha in favor of more vegans being weird. And that would have maybe suited this episode. I'm gonna say, all things considered, I do really like this episode, especially the music.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you blew
Like
me away with that trivia about the music. I did not know that
yeah. But I
Gina
mean,
Vanelli had anything to do with this episode.
I usually do not look anything up until after I've watched the episode. While that was happening, while I was watching it, I was just like, "What is happening with this?" Like, why is this?
Oh, and the album cover, of course. That like
Yeah,
you're making me stare at that before we hit record.
you should make that the you
His
should
big
make that
hairy
the
chest. Yeah,
picture.
that was
But
great.
Mark pointed out that he seems to have boobs under the hairy chest.
It's just like that
Moobs. They're
part of
called
his six.
moobs.
Yeah, moves. No, it's just part of his six pack that's exposed to evoke the idea of boobs. Yeah. But yeah, that's
And then there's some
it
bored
was
lady in the background.
it was a
Well, I've
weird.
I've listened to this score a lot of times over the years, and I just thought, oh well, this is just Derek Wadsworth being jazzy and crazy, and found out, oh no, he's just basically aping this Gino Vanelli song. It
Yeah,
sounds
if I
almost, but not quite exactly like. And
it's
I'm
like
just
if
wondering about the
someone
copyrights and everything, the implications of it.
yeah, it from all I could see is authorized, which is probably cheaper than using definitely cheaper than using the actual music. It's like I don't know how I would feel if I was scoring a film and someone was like, "Hey, copy this." Like, would I be mad? I feel like I would just tell them, "Hell no, I will not do that." But at the same time, it's so cool that I feel
Well, I
like I would
understand that's
want
a
to do it.
problem with modern directors. I mean, it kind of goes all the way back to Kubrick, right? And his score for 2001. It's like they fall in love with their temp tracks. And then they
Hmm.
tell the composer, can you write something that sounds like this? And so you end up with Ghostbusters, which sounds like I want a new drug,
Which is
and things
literally.
like that. Yeah. So that's why this intrigued me. It was like, how did they
Mhm.
make this happen? I mean, I always think of the Glee debacle. You remember what happened with Glee and Jonathan Colton's cover of Baby Got Back?
I do not remember that.
Vote no on
So
that. You can go
so
on.
oh go Baby Got Back was covered by Jonathan Colton, and his arrangement is, completely opposite of the rap song, and it's hilarious
Hmm.
for that reason. But it sounded like the people at Glee wanted to put this song in their episode, so they consulted who did Baby Got Back? I'm sorry, I'm gonna
Sir
forget his
Mix-a-Lot.
name.
Thanks a lot.
Sir Mix-a-Lot, thank you. They got permission from Sir Mix-a-Lot to use it, but then they used Colton's arrangement. In fact, some people think they actually got a hold of his actual, instrumental tracks because they were available for download at one point, and just put their actors, their voice actors, or singers on that track and put it in an episode. And the internet went wild. It's like, wow, no credit for Jonathan Colton's arrangement of this version of Baby Got
Mm.
Back, and it turned out that legally they didn't have to credit him. And
Huh.
Colton kind of decided not to make a fuss about it. He said, "I'm not going to die on that hill. It's just, they got away with it." But I think a lot of people went out and bought a lot of Jonathan Colton albums after that in support of him, just to make up for the fact that he got national exposure but no credit for it. And so
Yeah.
that reminded me again of this is the situation. So.
Yeah, and I made several music notes before we got to that part of the episode too. There's some Perfect
Hmm.
Driver's Ed music in there. I like that. Industrial film music from the 70s. I'm notorious for digging
Hmm.
that stuff. Um,
Well, I'm at the point where I'm just unabashedly gonna say that I like Derek Wadsworth's music better. And it's not necessarily appropriate every time, but I love it very much.
Well, it's more modern. It's more kind of dynamic, I guess, in
It's
some respects. I still like
it's my
Barry
kind of
Gray a
thing.
lot, but yeah,
I
I've always
I love
kind of
it. No, yeah, don't get me wrong, I love it, but this
Well,
is
Barry
just more
Gray's
my
music,
wheelhouse.
it's more like, slow moving amorphous blobs in space, right? That's what Barry
Yeah,
Gray soundtracks. But when we're having, like
yeah.
disco setups, obviously the season two music's a fit. So hey, the music fits each season pretty well, I'd say.
and
Yeah, he
also the
just
fact
uses a
that
lot of
they only
weird
record like
modulation.
5 episodes worth of music and then just rerun it for the remaining 20 episodes.
Yeah, I guess we might be tired of
Oh,
it in about 10 episodes,
well,
but
And then the big chunk of this episode being that music that was Gino Vanelli. You're probably going to hear a lot of it coming up in the
that's
future.
very
So
interesting. So, wow, we hear this again. We hear that again. Wow, that's amazing.
probably
again, I was
will.
watching some Mission Impossibles and it does start to drag. It's like, oh, there's that theme again, not the main theme, the things are happening theme that sounds kind of like Klingon music.
Well, the big one for me is the Venture Brothers because when that came out, it was a huge deal that J.G. Thirlwell was doing the music for it. You know, the guy who was Fetus, Foetus. And for the first season or two, it's like you would rarely hear anything repeated. And then eventually you never heard anything new and you didn't see his name associated with the show anymore. So it's like they obviously whenever Adult Swim was cutting the budget, they were just like, yeah, we're just gonna take what we have and reuse it. So bummer on that. But oh
No, they
well,
Right.
did in the first season. They've done it in
that
other
wasn't
shows.
to me that wasn't the biggest problem with that show going forward. But I know I'm
There are
alone
very
on
few
that.
shows that have like an original score all the way through. I think Babylon 5
Mhm.
did. I think Christopher Frank did a lot of scoring for that
I'm sure a
show.
lot of the modern stuff does because it's
Hmm.
like 10 episode season blast. You just get someone to do the music, right?
Yeah,
True.
10 episode season blast. Okay, I said that
Well,
right.
you guys
10
are the
episodes.
composers, so I defer to your wisdom and knowledge on this subject.
Oh, I mean, I quit. I retired.
He
So
retired.
I
Oh, you
retired because
retired already.
I've never made any money. Yeah, so I'm retiring and I'm just going to do podcasts now. I'm a podcaster now
He's a
because
podcaster
if
now.
if I'm going to not
That's where
make
the
any
big
money, I'd
bucks
rather
are.
just if I'm not going to make any money, I'm going to sit here talking, which is much more fun than fulfilling requests. But that's just the thing is that I, even though I said, wow, it would be fun to do that music, the number one thing I hate about composing anything is someone says, hey, do this, because I don't like doing that. I don't like copying things. I don't like covering. I don't like covers. The playing in a cover band to me was one of the worst, most miserable experiences. And most people don't feel like that. They're like, "Oh, it's so chill to be in a cover band." I'm like, "No, I like writing. I like doing original things."
One of my
Anyway,
most vivid dreams ever uh, is I was in a arena and suddenly I was supposed to play bass for Def Leppard, and I did like for 3 songs. The thing
wow.
is I don't like Def Leppard that much, so I was like, why was that my dream? I don't.
It can't be anything you really want to do. It's got to be something weird because it's a
But it was
dream.
still cool because it was like an arena and yeah, so it was still exciting and it was fun. I remember it was fun to play the Def Leppard songs, but I remember one of them in the dream was specifically Armageddon, so it was a real Def Leppard song. Um,
It's one of those things where sure, okay, if you're offering me the job playing with Def Leppard, that would probably be fun at first, and then would get really fun when I got good at it, and then it would get boring, and that would probably all happen with the first year.
yeah, I think that's the I think that's a pretty normal arc for a musician that does a tour
Yeah.
or whatever, or as a
But that
hired hand at
said, I
least.
mean, yeah, but that said, it's like if you're making enough money that you can retire, then who cares?
Right. So I'll tell you to do something. Tell me how much of this is hard sci-fi and how much is soft sci-fi.
Oh, this is a good one for that. I'm gonna say, geez, this is probably a good like 70 hard, 30 soft.
Yeah, I mean, we front loaded our conversation with a lot of, like AI, evolution of that stuff. So that's some hard sci-fi.
I mean, the worst thing I can say about this episode is it had a shot at being near 100% hard sci-fi and it blew it. But ah,
But I think I like it better that it didn't.
I did like this is probably pound for pound my favorite episode of the second season so far, except for I mean, it would be cool if it had Brian Blessed in it or somebody on Brian Blessed's level, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
So my
So-
my sticking with the rules answer, I think I'm more like 50-50. But what I really want to go is 33 and a third hard, 33 and a third soft, and 33 and a third 70 softcore setups.
I was gonna say it's like 90% soft core sci-fi.
Yeah, Matt's 333 and a thirds are all like albums by what's his name? The guy, the Italian man. Gino Villani. They're all Gino Villani albums.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm having trouble in names this week for some
Right.
reason.
But you
Soft
found
sci-fi, I would have to give to their central computer, which looked like it was made from leftover parts from Puri and Psyche.
Yeah, probably was.
All the little balls were piled up around the base of the main console. I thought, I know where those came from.
well, those are technical signifiers of this area of the galaxy, or whatever galaxy they're in at this point. I
Our
guess they don't even know where
sophisticated
they are at this
stuff
point.
has balls, big balls everywhere, balls,
Universe.
big white balls.
Yeah. AC/DC. Wait, I forgot. You said Def Leppard. That would have been made more sense if it was a Def Leppard song, but it wasn't. That was AC/DC. Never mind.
Oh, well.
At least I said the name of the band right. We are coming to the end of this episode, but we haven't really talked at all about how Koenig had to watch this robot dance with Helena without punching him.
Well, I
That
did
is
the
just
Jason Clark thing up front, right?
my notes is like Koenig has the willpower of a teenager apparently,
Yeah,
because he sees
I
his
mean,
girlfriend dancing with someone and wants to go punch them. It's like, really?
it's a
Really?
robot. I mean, I know they're realistic and
Really didn't make any
advanced.
sense to me. I mean, that whole aspect of it, the whole romance, sexuality stuff, it just seemed very juvenile.
And
Like,
if
why
you
would
hit
why would
them,
anybody do that?
yeah, if you hit them, they might kill all of you. In fact,
Right.
I mean, they might kill all of you if you don't hit them, but they probably were going to kill all of them anyway.
Yeah, I guess it threw me off. My notes
they would
here
have
are,
died of neglect.
yeah, my notes are Koenig's got to get cucked to save the moon base or not. What's going on?
It's like, what?
He gets to have his cake and eat it
What?
too, I guess. So yeah.
It's like Landau is making a point that he's like, whoa, angry Koenig's coming. Angry Koenig's coming. He's he's like he's whispering like, oh, I don't know how much more I could take of this. Like he wants to scream. I want to scream and punch.
That's why
which
you
is
like
fun.
this episode, because
Yeah, it
you get
was
to see
fun
the
because-
mechanics of Koenig screaming. You don't just see
Yeah.
Koenig screaming. You see like there's like a
Pressure cooker.
pressure cooker like on his face.
I put in my notes. Can you really be jealous of Can you really be jealous of a robot? It's like a sex toy.
Oh no, yeah, I wrote here, androids won't get you pregnant. Just ask Jude Law.
Yeah, or Data. Data has to build them. He doesn't.
Data's
Again,
fully
more
functional.
reason for a rational base commander to not be upset by this.
He's terrible. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Starry,
it
to be
works
honest,
out.
unlike Koenig, I'm willing to watch this go full 70 softcore.
I mean, I would have been fine. Oh, also we have parrots returning, including Maya's parrot once.
Yeah, that's
So, like,
also in
that's
my
pretty
note.
cool.
So
Nice
the new
callback.
android plan is sexy. Meanwhile, Maya is now a parrot. Yeah,
Yep.
she's definitely a
I
bit
think
of
there's a
cheat
parrot
code in this
farm
one.
near Pinewood Studios. There must be a parrot farm down the road because they keep bringing the parrots back.
Makes sense. I mean,
There's a
I'd-
rainforest cafe.
yeah, I'd love it if just the guy who is the head of Pinewood is an eccentric guy who has like 50 parrots and you just loan them out to productions.
But
What was
yeah,
it? Remember the episode from last season where the one parrot learned how to yell cut, so they had to replace it.
that's impressive
Oops.
though. He's the director now. They should have gotten him like a little director's hat.
I mean, okay, question. You give it to the parrot that can yell cut or Fred Freiberger? Do you give him Fred Freiberger's job?
With the parrot? Cut! No, they cut too much stuff.
You're right, he'd cut even more people.
He'd cut the cool stuff, yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it was kind of a weird thing. Like, here's a very new situation for Space 1999. It's getting saucy. But then, so
Mhm.
we were like, where is it going to go? Oh, it's going to go to the regular place where Koenig eventually does scream and punch. So,
Yeah. Um, I don't know how you would write a better ending. I guess you would.
no, they didn't. They just ended the episode, didn't they?
It's one of those
They
things
did,
where
yeah.
the androids learning violence was basically Chekhov's gun. Like you knew it was going to happen. And
Right,
it was
right.
cool when it happened because the guy was just smashing statues and stuff. Like, whoa, that was
That's why
cool.
they wanted to learn it so bad. Yeah. So they could do that.
If they like pushed over a statue by mistake and it broke, would that count as them learning violence?
Hmm.
Did you guys know that John Wayne Gacy's first kill was basically he brought a sex worker home with him and then was just making breakfast and the guy like sort of came up behind him and John Wayne Gacy thought he was going to kill him, so he just stabbed him and then he learned that he liked killing
Well, I
because
guess
it's
that's
just
what I
sort of
do now.
a misunderstanding. Yeah. Like, do you think that could have happened? Like
I guess that
I
is what's
guess not.
happening with the Vegans, isn't it?
I guess he probably already knew how to stab somebody.
Yeah. But he hadn't done it. That maybe that's part the robots hadn't done it. They hadn't actually punched anybody. So, or
Man, this is
punched
like,
anything.
do you think John Wayne Gacy saw this and he was like, I'm gonna accidentally do this one?
I don't think we have to blame that. I don't think we need to blame the producers of Space
Yeah.
99 for the crimes of John Wayne Gacy.
What if Alpha was full of psychopaths? How would this episode played out? I think we've already discovered that.
Yeah, I mean,
My
I
question
think
is, how would Captain Kirk would Captain Kirk have been proud of the way the computer was confounded into destroying itself? Because he does it all the time with Landru,
Yeah.
Vol,
Well, we have the relationship with a
Nomad.
wrinkle here, though, because Kirk.
Kirk would have tricked somebody. That's why he's fit to be captain. Is because
He would have tricked the robots into the Vegans into just punching something, and then their brain would have exploded because they hadn't learned how to do it first.
yeah, yeah.
That's my
Or
guess.
maybe he would have just watched the robot have sex with Helena and been like, "Well, see now, you haven't learned violence, but you've learned love."
Mm. Well,
And then
Kirk
that
didn't have a
wouldn't make
steady
them
sweetie
lose.
on the Enterprise, though, so
True.
Yeah,
that changes the
exactly.
situation.
No, if Helena was on the Enterprise, Kirk would have been like, "I know not to do this."
I think Helena
Didn't-
was sort of the Kirk in this, but inadvertently, she was like, okay, because she's the one who throws herself in front of him and says, don't hurt anybody. And that's what threw him off. I said, oh, but I
Well,
like you. Oh, but I have to kill you. Oh, ooh, Nomad, coordinate. Yeah, I was thinking of Larry's Muds episode too with
It's
all
a
the androids.
situationship.
Oh yeah.
Zarl,
I mean-
coordinate. Zarl.
Didn't Shatner recently come out and say that Roddenberry would be disgusted by crew members dating each other on one of the newer series?
Shatner says lots of stuff.
Well, there you go. That's proof that he would not approve of the relationship that led to the robot cucking. So,
Okay.
So I guess that's the actor and not the character, but still. Yeah, don't date your coworkers, listeners.
Command
Just
probably
don't.
shouldn't date each other.
Yeah.
That's one of
Well,
the things on the
yeah.
Orville, right? It's like, this is weird.
Yeah, that didn't really work, did it? I mean, maybe don't date like a woman who's an alien disguised as a regular lady, but I guess that was a big mistake. That's a big mix 'em up.
Only when she's disguised as a gorilla.
Yeah.
That's the only time it's okay.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
but you fight the gorilla and then you probably have sex with the human, even though I don't
think
know what
we're
Conan's
learning
into.
Mark's weird kinks today.
I'm just projecting what I think Koenig is like. And I think that is a kinky individual.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's it's just like how high-powered execs, pay doms to beat them around.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, indeed. Weren't there like two different human carpet guys? And there's like at least one human carpet guy in New York who's just like the human carpet. He would just go to a bar and like he would be wearing like a carpet and he would just like lie down next to the bar and he'd be like, "Hey, just step on me, please."
guy
They would
of
just go to
hobbies.
parties. He'd go to parties and stuff. Yeah, I'm like 90% certain that someone that I know has been around that guy at some point. I don't know if they took the time to step on him or not, but that
Mm.
is
Didn't
a
even
He was
take
trying to
time
learn the
step on him.
secret of being a carpet, but only by
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, he's like, teach me how to be a carpet so I can learn. Like these robots wanted to learn violence. He wanted to learn. He wanted to learn.
He was
Carpet.
just confused. He meant to be a carpetbagger, but he got it wrong.
Mm.
I don't know. Shall we wind it down then? Unless someone's got a hot take on something.
I'm
A
just
hot
gonna say.
take.
I'm gonna say
Just
inappropriate stuff and
lots of
laugh.
heat in this episode, but
Yeah.
no hot takes. Just lots of jazz and yeah.
I guess this is a new height of body space 1999 because we've had a few, where people running around in bath towels and stuff. So this is solariums.
There is definitely a lesson here, even though I know it was not intentional. But you meet somebody new, you kind of start a throuple, and then you're going to watch your wife dancing with another man the next week. That's going to happen.
Mm.
It's gonna happen, and you shouldn't punch him
It's
because
amazing
you've
anyone made it out of the
accepted this
70s with an
lifestyle.
intact relationship.
I don't know if they did. Oh, your parents did. Anyway, and so did mine. But anyway, this is it's fun if we could just make this entire season just like craft this meta narrative of the opening up of John and Helena's relationship and all the perils of it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I
ladies
will
and
say
gentlemen.
Barbara Bain is definitely having more fun this season so far. So
Yeah.
over Alan,
Well, that's
maybe Nick Tate and Landau or not, but she is.
yeah. She's hanging out with Tony, getting a lot of Tony time.
Tony time.
Let's see where Tony time lives.
See what happens with Tony time.
We'll have more Tony time. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, but yep. No.
Mark's now. I'm watching the Mark gauge where he is winding up his motor to do the promo stuff. So
I'm too tickled by my own nonsense. But if you want to be tickled by some better nonsense than mine, then you can go to patreon.com/podcastio. There is my servability to see outtakes. I mean, listen to outtakes, listen to other podcasts such as Films Filth, the Citizen Kane of podcasts, Lucas Pokemon, Game Show, the Game Show About Games, Occult Disney, Time Enough podcast about the Twilight Zone, Hyrule Field Report. And that's all of them.
Instead of my nonsense, here's some better nonsense, but a lot of that's still your nonsense.
Okay.
So it's kind of false advertising.
Well, but it's better nonsense. I think that I've done a lot better. I think this is one of the worst podcast episodes I've ever personally recorded. I mean, one of the worst performances I have done on a podcast because I keep just saying stuff and cracking up about how it's stupid because this episode made my brain explode. I do blame the episode.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
Our first casualty.
No, right before recording, I had to go back
brain cells.
I had to go back and just reread the wiki summary because what was that about?
someone is listening to this and so mad at me and everything, and they love this episode. And they're like, "What are you doing?"
You've taught them how to hate. Good job, Mark.
All right, that's the best place to cut it.
That's the place to cut it, I guess.
You taught us all how to hate. Okay. Well, I got to go to work in 10 minutes, so I got to split.
And
Shit.
I have on a similar schedule. So, yeah, okay. Next time, I guess maybe if this time works next week, that's probably fine.
Let me.
I guess we can aim for that.
Yeah, I
Monday or
just
Tuesday usually
bungled my. I meant my when I told Mark Monday what I meant. It was Monday for me. That's the problem.
You said Monday, and you said Monday night.
Yeah.
Even if it was Monday, it was Monday morning.
Right.
No.
Okay. Sorry. Let me check what the actual next episode is for this.
Is it all the glisters?
Maybe.
I believe so.
There might be one before that. Sorry, I'm bringing up the episode list here. I could have just grabbed the DVDs. That probably would have been smarter, but that's not what I did. Okay. All that glistens is episode
TV.
4.
All
Yes,
that
all that
glistens.
glistens is correct. All that
Glisters.
glisters. Excuse me,
Glisters. I was glistens and glisters. I was gonna mix them up.
Is
I
glisters
think
a
it's
word?
the
Ooh,
British
Journey
one.
to Where is after that. I like Journey to Where. It's goofy.
Ooh.
That's a fun one.
I'm just excited for Brian the Brain, where we'll just make you say everything. I don't know.
Brain. What is brain?
That's
I
number
don't know.
9. Number 9.
Number 9.
Okay, I will
That's
stop
the
recording
number
then.
8. Okay.
Bye to all people that listen to this.